morning.
Sorry.
And
Laughing
morning.
as usual.
Laughing as usual, because I just said as we turned the thing, I said it's the breakfast slot now. So you might have noticed, you might not have met us before, but if you have, that was not easy for me to say. You might not have met us before. We're from Fettle at the top
At the top of Bookham High Street.
Thanks. If you could just do it, that would be lovely. Bookham High Street. I can't talk, obviously, at 8:15 in the morning, but soon I've decided we'd like to do our lives a little bit earlier because the clinic is quiet at this time of day. It's quite difficult in the middle of the day because there's people coming in and out.
And the phone rings.
And the phone rings and whatever. If you try and ring us right now, we've just unplugged it. So we're not available for another 10 minutes. Anyway, we're at the top of Bookham High Street. We are a healthcare clinic and we're coming on as your breakfast wake-up call. And next week, we realise we're going to be off-site, aren't we, next week?
New location.
New location. Well, a different location.
Actually, it's a bit like the breakfast show.
It'll be like...
We'll be on location.
Yeah, we might even have the Thames behind us. It's the whole new... who's the breakfast show that you watch? Watch BBC One or ITV?
I watch BBC One.
I watch both. I get so far with...
The other one's a
Piers
bit
Morgan
noisy
in the
for me.
night.
I think that's age thing for me, because I always used to watch that, but this is a bit noisy.
A bit noisy. So we'll try. Ben's watching. Morning, Ben.
Morning,
You
Ben.
impressed the early morning for us today. Right, so what we always do at the beginning of our lives, good morning, lovely lady, says Kirsty. Good morning.
Morning, Kirsty.
We like being called lovely ladies. I wasn't looking so lovely just now, was I? I was like, my hair, what do I look like? Anyway, what we normally do on one of our lives is we first of all reel off all the therapies that we do here. So shall I have a go?
Yep.
Do you want to go first or second?
First.
I know what you're going to say. Go on then.
Dietetics.
That's our favourite word. Nutrition.
Hypnotherapy.
Osteopathy.
Mindfulness. Small group and one-to-one.
Pilates, small group and one-to-one. Matching you and Sin, you're raising
you've
it.
got, can I say foot care coming?
Yes.
Foot care coming next month?
Yes, beginning of next month. Yeah, yeah. Got the lovely Sandra at reflexology because she does both. Yeah.
Acupuncture.
Sports massage.
Relaxing massage.
I think we might have done them. I think that might be all.
Did you do osteopathy?
Done osteopathy. I think that's it. Anyway, we've got a variety of therapies here. We also run Pilates classes and mindfulness classes, which Sue has mentioned and I have mentioned. But if you want to look us up, go to www.findfettle.org, and you would think by now that we would remember them like that. The only one we really remember is dietetics, because both of us like the word dietetics. So if you need nutrition or diet advice, we've got two people that can help you here. So what were we talking about today, Sue? I'll have a slurp of my coffee in my recyclable cup.
I think that one of the things we were going to talk about was stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, we spoke about that because we're both doing things outside our comfort zone. And I think I'm well known for stepping outside my comfort zone. But you were talking about whether you push yourself right out your zone or whether you sit within it, weren't you?
Yeah,
Sue does mindfulness and your coaching, don't you? And you speak to a lot of people about this.
I think that one of the things with mindfulness and having, not with mindfulness, just a minute, having
Neither
a
of us
comfort
can
zone.
speak at this time in the morning.
That's why we've got coffee. You have a comfort zone that you set up that you feel comfortable in and safe.
And it can be really easy to stay in that safe zone,
because
can't it?
it's a bit scary stepping outside.
Yeah.
But if you step just outside, if you make just a little change or a little challenge, that's motivation. That's where you get the adrenaline for motivation. However, if you take a huge leap, like if I decided to leap out of a plane with no training, that's over.
If I pushed you.
As well as being dangerous.
Yeah.
That's overwhelming. It's too much.
Yeah.
So it's all about taking a smaller step. And then when you've done the smaller step, then your comfort zone is slightly bigger.
And I suppose with that, with the jumping out the plane analogy, it's different for everybody where your too much is.
Oh, yeah,
because for some people, the jumping out the plane, like, I've done it, I'll do it 3 times, I'd love to do it, I've always wanted to do it. I don't like heights, I might be. I prefer to be with somebody, I think, if I did it, so they were pulling the cord. If they were particularly tall and handsome, I'd be happy with that as well. But that's what I would, no, it's not what I'd like to do, that's what I would do, but that would be outside my comfort zone. But I think it can be uncomfortable sometimes stepping outside your comfort zone, and sometimes we fear that feeling a bit, it feels a bit funny, a bit strange, but you're right, it's what we should be feeling, isn't it?
And I think sometimes we forget that it's all right to feel that.
Yeah, and I know you, I think it was you said to me once, it's excitement. When I'm nervous, it's not, just think of it as excitement, because they're pretty similar emotions.
Nerves in disguise.
Nerves in disguise, yeah. Not you get on my nerves, no. You can tell we like each other. Oh, I don't know, I like Sue, but maybe the way I banter her, maybe not. So we were going to talk about different things that we challenged ourselves to, haven't we, recently?
Yes.
So you've got one, your 1,000-mile one you're doing.
Yeah, and that's, although I've mentioned it before, I'm doing
Keep mentioning it.
walk 1,000 miles in 2020. Not all in one go, I keep saying, because that would be way out of my comfort zone. It's already, more than a little bit out of my comfort zone, because it's not the walking that's doing it for me. It's actually the keeping going, the perseverance that I've got to keep it up for a year, because I need to fit I have to do 3 miles a day every day to fit it in. So I can do more if I want. Yeah.
So you have some days you do more, some days you can do less, but it's
exactly.
average.
So, but I've got to keep it going, especially because I've told people.
And a few people here have said, you never keep up with that. Well, one person in particular has said that to you, haven't they? And you went, all right, I've got to do it now. Sometimes you need that, don't you? Somebody not to believe you're going to do it, to do it. So my stepping out of my comfort zone, I suppose, is ninja phrase, nerves in disguise. See, Kirsty's recognised. Some of the people that have worked with Sue and I on some of the retreats that we run, and we are thinking of doing a fine fettle retreat, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are thinking of popping it in,
yes,
maybe down on the south coast. If you'd be interested in coming on a retreat with us, with mindfulness and a bit of fitness thrown in, and we're thinking of doing it. And I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh yeah, and Sue is known as the ninja, because she'll suddenly strike with a phrase or a... You're very quiet. I'm noisy, full on, as everybody knows. Sue will sit and wait, and then she'll strike like a ninja with a kind blow that will make people think, don't you? A thought that you throw in.
Hopefully.
Telling people makes you accountable, says Ben. Yeah, very, very true.
That's why I'm
very true. It does make you accountable. So my thing, I've stepped outside of my comfort zone, and actually it's not as far out as I thought it might be. Is doing my podcast. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, it's called Kindly Blunt. Now, you might think, oh, it might not be for me, I've not got injuries. It's not that sort of podcast. It's a motivational podcast. It's for both the business people that I coach and the patients that I see and anybody that wants to have it. But for me, I was like, well, who do I think I am to put out a podcast? And then I thought about it, well, people don't have to listen if they don't want to. So my comfort zone to begin with was learning the tech to do it. I learned to do that. Then my comfort zone was knowing that people would want to listen to what I say. But actually the feedback's been really good. So my comfort zone is, I suppose I'm back in my circle, I'm back comfortable. So I probably need to step out again and
but also a slightly bigger circle.
A slightly bigger circle.
Because you've already been out that far.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see. I'm very much a doer, so it wasn't going to stop me doing it. But I knew I had to put it out when I was going to put it out, or I would just always put it off. And I was accountable because somebody in my business membership said get it done by January. So January I had to do it. There was no way. And I have to say I learnt it at the beginning of January. I didn't like build up in the months before. I just thought, right, I've got to do a podcast, do it, get it out. So anything on here that you guys want to do but maybe is pushing you outside your comfort zone, we'd like to know. Tell us. Kirsty says I'm doing the 1,000-mile challenge too soon. So you've got somebody to chat to.
Yes, I know. And I'm admiring everybody that's doing. And the thing I like about it is everybody's doing it in their own way. Some people are just doing the walks. Yeah. Some people are aiming to do 500 miles. Some people are doing how far they walk all day, so they have a Fitbit on. And doing it like that. And it doesn't matter because it's your own challenge.
So I think if anybody wants to join in, we'll talk about it. Let's try and talk about it in every live we're doing. We'll update you on how Sue's doing. But also tell us if you've been walking, and it doesn't have to be the 1,000 miles. Make it 200 miles for the year. Make it, I don't know what it is, 3 miles for the week. Something is better than nothing. Yeah. But if we can cheer you along the way, if you walk past Fine Fettle and we're sitting on the desk, give us a wave. Come and tell us you're doing part of your walking. You might find one of us will come and walk with you. But so stepping outside your comfort zone. The other things we were talking about was things like diet this time of year, not dieting, but changing what you're eating. Yeah. Changing your fitness, so like Sue was saying about a walking goal, we've lost New Year now, haven't we? That euphoria of New Year, and what tends to happen is most people are dropping off the radar of what they wanted to do. So we're coming back to go, actually, we can keep going with this. And it could be little things, it doesn't have to be you're the gym bunny down the gym, looking sylph-like or whatever. It might be that you're just doing a little bit more than you were doing. And we had a challenge, didn't we? We're going to set ourselves. What we're going to set ourselves this week, days. Which we'd like you to join in with.
For the next 7 days.
7 days, yeah, we're going to do 7-day challenges. What we're going to do?
And it was hydration, we decided, because both of us drink coffee. Yep. And we do drink black coffee with no sugar in it. But coffee can be dehydrating.
Yeah, can be a diuretic. Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you're balancing your liquid and drinking enough. And when it's cold, sometimes you don't want to drink cold.
No, you don't. I'm like that, a bit like that in the cold. So we're going to up our water intake, aren't we? We're going to hydrate more with our H2O.
So what are we going to up it to?
Well, I think with everybody, you need to have it what you're doing now. So if you're already drinking 3 glasses a day, how about you drink 5? If you're only not drinking any, how about you drink 3? I think we need some levels on it. So for me, I probably drink 3 glasses of water, pints of water a day. So as it's pints, I could probably go up to 4 or 5 and maybe a less coffee. What do you fancy doing? I think it's got to be individual, because otherwise, do you know what stops people? Is they sit with a litre bottle of water on their desk and they go, I've got to drink all of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably do drink more of that because I do drink sparkling water as well. But it can be quite off-putting if you set yourself too big a target. So I think drink more than you're drinking now. 1 or 2 glasses. Up it by 1 or 2 glasses.
What I do sometimes to up my just water is I just do boiled water.
Yeah.
I don't. You can have lemon in it or whatever.
Some people like lemon. It's supposed to be very good for you.
I just have the hot water.
So
and
mine,
it's quite refreshing.
I like lime. I'd realised the reason I like a mojito, it's a bit of the alcohol actually, and the sugar. It's actually the lime. Yeah. I really like lime, and it depends if you like it or not. I love it. So I cut a lime in half, I squeeze half a lime into my normally sparkling water or clear water, and then I drop that half of the lime in the water as well. I love that, really refreshing. But for me, the water has to be cold. Now, there are schools of thought that water should be body temperature because your body has to cool it down. But I think as long as you're drinking, drink it how you like it, whether it be warm, whether it be hot, whether it be boiled, whether it comes out the fridge. I think as long as you're hydrating.
So if anybody does want to join the challenge, it might be quite interesting to find how you motivated yourself to do it. Did you, like me, decide I won't have a cup of coffee, but I'll have a cup of hot water?
And I think if you're in on the challenge this week, write water in the comments. If you're watching on Catch Up Watching now, put water in the comments and make yourself accountable. We're not going to come and chase you, but at least you've stepped up. And then next week, we'll be live at 8:15 near Tower Bridge, won't we? We'll have the Thames behind us. It will be like the TV breakfast show next week.
Tower Bridge out.
We'll have a newsreader and a weather forecaster in the background. Have a wonderful day. See you later. See you later, Ben. Some of these guys watching will be with us as well.
Yes, that's right.
But what we'll do is we'll update you on our challenge, and if you can, join us again and tell us how you've got on. You'll be surprised though the benefits of water. Your joints, your muscles, your blood all requires water. I think we're 70% water.
Your brain, sometimes a bit foggy brain in the morning or something.
Headaches, not all headaches, but some headaches can be resolved by hydration. Most of us are dehydrated. Yeah. Most of us are dehydrated.
And isn't it, I think I heard you say it to somebody when you
Kirsty's in water.
When you realise that you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Yeah, we had somebody yesterday sitting in clinic, and actually she said every time I've got a bit of time when somebody asks me if I want a drink, I say yes to water, because I realised I was thirsty most of the time. And that's a really good way. If you got thirsty, definitely go and have a drink. I feel thirsty right now actually, because I've done a spin session this morning, so you could hear me upstairs on my spin bike. The floor creaks when I do it.
It's quite relaxing. It's like a train. You know how a train goes.
That's what I look like on the bike. But I feel I'm a bit dehydrated. So although I've got a coffee here, what I'm going to do is go and drink a water in a minute, because I haven't drunk anything. I rushed around afterwards and got in for here. So let's try and hydrate. Your body is 70% water. Hi Lee, nice to see you. We've got a water challenge on, Lee. We're going to hydrate more this week. Are you in? Put water in the comments if you're in. I know Lee will take up a challenge. Lee is a good one for a challenge. So we're going to hydrate more. Remember, there's also water in fruit and vegetables. So if you can up your fruit and vegetables, I would say don't have too many of the sugary fruits. Things like blueberries and stuff are good for you. But if you can have more vegetables, they've got water in as well. So if you're really struggling to take it in by the glass, up your fruit and veg intake, especially your vegetable intake, because that has a lot of water. Marrow is the one I always think is just full of water, but probably not seasonal right now. Yeah, we have a lot of marrows on our allotment, don't we?
We do actually, yes.
In the summer we could do a live from the allotment, at 8:15 from the allotment, with the sun coming up, maybe even earlier. Anyway, so if you're going to join us on our water challenge, if you're watching on Catch Up, please also put in the comments. I'll come back and chat to you. We're going to do a simple hydration challenge, and I'd love to see what you're drinking, what you do to make you drink yourself more. So let me say this, I'm told it's better not to have, I think, cold drinks. It doesn't say, so not better to have old drinks, Liz, but I think you mean cold drinks. So warm water flavoured would be good. Yeah, definitely. It's not bad to have cold. Your body finds it easier when you have it room temperature, because it doesn't have to heat it up, as it were.
Yeah.
But I sort of think our bodies are able to do that. We are able to do that. It's not going to hurt you, and your body will burn a few calories making it warmer, so I wouldn't worry too much. Cucumber in my water, says Kirsty.
Actually,
yeah.
that is nice, cucumber.
I want to put it on my eyes as well, so maybe I'll show some photos of that.
Cucumbers and strawberries are nice together.
Cucumbers and strawberries. I hope that sounded a bit Pimm's-like with water. I call it a Pimm's. I call my water and sparkling water and lemon, I call it a mojito, and I know it's not, but it does make me think of mojito, and I don't need the alcohol, so there we go. So less alcohol, more water, and that's the week we're going to do. There was something else I was going to say, Sue. Can't remember what. It's gone. I know what I was going to do. I was going to ask a question. Would you like me, I've had a request, I think I'm going to do it anyway, so I don't know what I'm asking. Would you like me, I'm going to do it anyway. Would you like me to do a video of me putting a duvet cover on the way you don't have to do it with shaking it? You roll it and you roll it up and you unroll it and it's done. So there's no hurt in your back.
I'm up for it.
Right, so I'm going to change. Sue stays over me on a Thursday night. So I'm going to change your bed in your room, and I'll do a video of it and I'll post it up here. But it's really useful. I had a patient yesterday asking me, but it's a really good trick for putting a single or a double duvet on without having to do the standing on the bed, shaking it, hurting your back, pushing it into the corners. It's a lot easier. It's a bit of a technique to learn, but when you learn it, it's the way I do my duvets all the time now.
So it would also be good if anybody would put in here, if they've got any hacks that they've found that
for
are
helping.
useful.
We like all of it.
You know.
So we're going to hydrate. I'm going to do the video on the. I'm going to do it anyway. I've decided, but thank you for listening to me when I asked. It's not really how you should ask a question. So we need to go now because we've got to open the clinic.
Yep.
We do free 15-minute chats if anybody does want to come into the clinic and just chat to one of the clinicians here. Therapist is an easier word for me to say this morning. Definitely need some more water. Do you know what I think? Honestly, I think I'm dehydrated. And you know, sometimes you can feel almost your spit is sticky.
Yeah.
I feel a bit like that. So I'm going to have a glass of water straight away. Keep my coffee warm in here and have it later. I know what I'm going to commit to. I know I've digressed slightly. I'm only going to have 2 coffees a day. Do you want to join me?
No.
Do you want to join me?
No.
How many would you like to have a day?
Well, sometimes it depends, because I always have a coffee when I go in with a client. But the reason I said no was
quite quickly, I have to say.
Was one for me.
Yeah.
One challenge. I've already got my walking thing.
Oh, that old one. We will talk about Sue's reasons, excuses another day. Yeah, you're getting some laughter through there. If you think Sue could join me, we'll give her 3 cups of coffee a day. Can you put it in the comments? Put 3 cups Sue. 3 cups Sue in the comments, and we'll see if we can get it to 3 cups.
I won't have coffee after 7 o'clock.
In the morning.
No, in the evening. Anyway, I'll work that out.
Yeah, anyway, Sue doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to have 2 cups of coffee a day. That's going to be hard for me because I normally have 3. I normally shut off by about lunchtime, don't I? My natural is to go, I've had too much coffee. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. As I said, if you want to know more about Fine Fettle, just check us out on www.finefettle.org. It's very professional on there. It does tell about all the therapists, but we like to be us in this clinic, don't we? We're very real, very professional, very empathetic, and if we can entertain you as well as educate you on our videos, that's really our mission, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've crawled around the floor this week showing a psoas stretch everybody liked, and I did cooking from my kitchen, which everybody loved. 280 people have watched it, people have commented, so I'm going to do something next week. I'm going to cook for you next Monday.
I was going to say not on Thursday, when it was that thing.
Not on Thursday because we're in London.
We're on location.
Thursday and Friday, but we will be live Friday morning. Right, time for us to go.
Yeah.
Cover me while I kneel on the floor to turn the button off.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me too.
Bye.